Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
I bring greetings from the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Edgar Chagwarungu, to you all. I'm delighted to be here once again to meet such a diverse group of Zambians, giving us a brief of who you are, where you have come from, what you are doing. I said to myself, here we have a Zambian group that is so diverse, a Zambian group with a wealth of expertise, with a wealth of talents, and how lucky we are that for the first time in our history, we have allowed the dual citizenship law. Early this year, the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Edgar Chagwarungu, assented to the Constitution. The Constitution, which was a cry for a long time by Zambians who felt that they wanted to have a constitution they could call their own. The Constitution was assented to, and the Parliament passed it, but then it raised a number of issues that perhaps we did not take note of, as many Zambians have expressed certain issues that have come out of that Constitution. But one of the positive things that have come out of that Constitution is the equality issue between men and women. Something also good that has come out, actually there are quite a number of positive provisions that will move our country forward. And the dual citizenship is one of those. This has happened after 50 years of independence. And mind you, it was not easy to pass that provision in the Constitution. There was a lot of opposition to it by certain sections of the community. But President Lungu insisted that we should look to the future, not to what has happened in the past. We don't want Zambians to feel like refugees when they are outside Zambia. Or to hide from the law of the countries where they find themselves. Zambians should have equal rights, and we look forward to these Zambians to come back home, to set up businesses, to develop their country, because they are a critical stakeholder in the development of Zambia. And as I look around here, most of you are young people who still have a long future and can contribute a lot to your country. We have had some issues in the country that some of you are aware of, including issues of load shedding. I think last time I was here, I mentioned that we had started to experience this, but it was not as pronounced as it is today. But your government is working. We have been working around the clock to ensure that the engine of industry, the mines, the homes have to operate with electricity being distributed to all these sectors. We have now come to prepare for the forthcoming general elections. And I believe that some of you have already received the information regarding how these elections will be held, including the fact that the referendum will be part of the election process. It means that when Zambians vote, they will vote for their president, they will vote for the running mate together with the president, they will vote for the members of parliament, they will vote for the councillors, they will also vote for the referendum. The referendum will be a yes or no. I'm not sure yet because the questions are being formulated by the Electoral Commission of Zambia together with the Ministry of Justice. Because in a referendum, you are only asked whether you agree with this or the other. But the main point is that the answer will depend on whether we accept the Bill of Rights in the Constitution. The Bill of Rights could not be passed together with the Constitution because the original Constitution stipulates that if you have to adopt the Bill of Rights, you have to go to a referendum. So it was not possible for the government to set aside the referendum election because we found that we could not manage to hold 2 elections within a year. So that the suggestion that this should be held together with the elections. We have to teach our people on the modalities of exercising their democratic duty. It will take time, although we have only a few months to go, but I hope by next week the referendum question would have been dealt with and people will know how they are going to respond to that issue. There have been challenges of late where some Zambians were killed by unknown people. The police are on top of the situation. They are patrolling the compounds, especially in the area where these things were happening. And the army was called, I think last weekend, to reinforce the police patrols. But now they are off the streets. So the situation is quiet. However, what has come out of this scenario is a very negative picture that we are finding here in Britain. And as we were leaving America, we received this information that there is xenophobia in Zambia. Zambians are attacking foreigners. This is not true. And this propaganda, unfortunately, is being spread by our own people, our own media, which should help to build Zambia, to build the name of the country to the outside world. Unfortunately, the same people are spreading the propaganda, destroying their own country. there is no such thing as xenophobia in Zambia. What happened was a group of criminals that took advantage of the situation. You know that there was a lot of smuggling of meal and maize, mainly to the Congo, to Malawi, and to Zimbabwe. So some millers were involved in this racket, because the a bag of meal in Zimbabwe was fetching more than 200 kwacha, compared to Zambia, where they are buying it at 65 or 75 kwacha. Zambia was the only country in the region that had a good harvest in the last season. So as such, we were able to put aside some maize, enough for relief for the areas that were affected by drought, particularly in the southern part of the country. And enough stocks even for export, and enough for the Zambian population, because we use so many bags of meal per month. We know the figures, and enough for livestock. So all these arrangements were made, but before we knew it, some people took advantage of the situation and started to export the maize to the neighboring countries. So government had to stop it. But before we stopped the exportation of maize and meal, the price of meal went up in the country, because there was now a scarcity of meal due to hoarding, and also due to unscrupulous traders who were sending the meal out of the country. So as a result of the high cost of meal, criminals took advantage of this, and they decided, in order for us to steal meal, we will cause trouble and attack foreigners' shops. So this is what happened. This is what actually took place. Not that Zambians are against people from outside Zambia. That is not true. Our country has been known for sheltering refugees for many, many, many years. Starting from 1600, when the first Angolans crossed into Zambia, up to the time of the liberation wars, up to the time of differences in the 60s in the Congo, up to the time of Burundi recently, where there is some form of conflict, where receiving refugees as far as the Sudan. So Zambia has been a home for refugees, and I have never known a time when Zambians attacked foreigners in our country. But then, why should we make this an issue for Zambia? What is happening is political. As Zambians wanting to take over power, we say all sorts of things against each other, not knowing that what we are saying is being transmitted across the borders of Zambia. What we say can affect somebody who has a business in Switzerland, who has a business in France, who has a business in London. These people, I was hearing from the gentleman from from, is it Scotland, who said we have partnered with investors and we are doing business in Zambia. Now, some of these partners may withdraw their services or their resources because of a perceived instability in Zambia. And you people in the diaspora, you are the ambassadors for Zambia. And at every level of your interaction with others, the name of Zambia should come out clean. We can politic somewhere else, but when you come to issues of your country, I think your country comes first. This is the only asset you have on earth. And if we destroy it, we are destroying the future. That's why we want you to participate in whatever is happening at home. We want you to have a good name for your country because we value your services and we value as Zambians. That's why this law, the dual citizenship had to be passed. Secondly, another very positive step that the PF government took is that of formulating a diaspora policy. That policy has not been finalized yet, but we hope you will find a way of inputting that policy. The broader parameters have been set out, but we would like to know the nitty-gritty of what should go in that policy, because you are the ones who are affected. Some of us who have never lived outside Zambia may not even understand or may know what challenges Zambians face if they cross their country into another country. So I hope you help us to finalize this policy so that it can be implemented as soon as possible. We hope before elections or after elections, because it's a process that requires a lot of consultation, but I know that you'll be up to it. So let's enjoy the evening.
Was such a wonderful address by our mother, and I will call upon the House to give her another round of applause. Thank you very much for that song. We appreciate it.
And it's a question that I asked some Zambian opposition leaders, which is the issue of cannibalism. We witnessed a lot of violence in the enemy regime and the PF regime. saw cadres or should I say, UPND cadres in numbers falling to the police station, which resulted in somebody breaking the leg. My question is, what is the government doing to ensure that we do not experience more of this violence towards elections? My next question is to
cadres and cadreism. I think this is something of concern to all of us because we are all Zambians. Others have found a way of making themselves heard or seen by resorting to acts which may be antisocial. But I think some of you who have been following Zambian news have discovered that since the meeting took place between all the political parties and the churches, there has been a dramatic drop or not at all of any conflict between political players, especially the youth. The youth are always active. They are always looking for something to do. And I think confronting each other, they take pleasure in that. But we have said no to all those acts which are antisocial, to all the acts of violence or even threatening violence. And I hope we'll keep it this way. We have told the police that deal with any offender in no uncertain terms should you leave someone who has committed a crime to get away with it because that person belongs to this party or that party. The police have to be impartial so that they do their duty diligently. The police should not live in a state where they think that it's the party and it is government. Therefore, they cannot discipline anyone who belongs to the ruling party. In PF, we had a situation where one of our provincial chairmen was involved in a scuffle. The man was arrested and he was in detention for a number of days together with the people he was with. And on several occasions, we have told the police, if you arrest someone and that person claims that he or she is PF, make sure they are put in police cells so that they can learn a lesson. We are not taking this very lightly because we know that one little thing can bring a spark that can tarnish the name of the country. Here we are talking about xenophobia because of some rascals who went around Lusaka collecting items from shops. So we are guarding against any violence before, during and even after the elections. So the speculations that we are getting regarding no, Zambia will be a no-go area during elections or before, I do not think that is the right statement. So the country will be very safe for the elections and during the elections so that everyone will be free to vote. The issue of CVs, I think it was a suggestion that we need to have a database of Zambians in the UK. This will help us to identify individuals that can help us to run that country. If you are looking for an expert in a certain sector, we know that the London office can furnish us with a name looking at the information they have. So this is the reason why even last time I was here, I said, please register yourself in the database at the High Commission, because this is helpful for us. Now that we have dual citizenship, you don't have to hide in Manchester. Your government has given you space to now find yourselves, to now contribute. The surveyors, we are short of surveyors in the country. I'm speaking from experience because there was something that I wanted the surveyors to help me with. The Minister of Lands said we don't have enough surveyors in the country. So the whole area is open. We need business people. We need entrepreneurs. Your stay here has taught you many things, including business. So if you go back home, we want you to be the pioneers in business, because you know better. You have been exposed more than your brothers and sisters back home. So the lady who was talking about giving her services to her country, she can even set up an office in Lusaka or Kitwe or Ndola and recruit other surveyors and start a company immediately. And the background, I think you pay only 75 kwacha or something to have a license to start your business. I mean, the whole Zambia is now opened up. We want Zambians to take ownership of that country. When you travel to Kenya, you enter Nairobi. You start seeing skyscrapers. And if you ask, most of these buildings belong to Kenyans, something we don't have in Zambia. So why can't we do it if others have done it? You wanted to comment on the recovery? Okay. So that's what I can say about giving back to your country. There's a lot that you can do. The nurses, for example, we are short of nurses in the country. And you can provide employment. We have to many people who perhaps have done their nursing education. Maybe you can expand their knowledge. Or those that want to go into nursing, you can even start a nursing school. We are short of nurses. We have built 650 health centers. So we need personnel to work in these centers. So really and truly, I'm inviting you or pleading with you to come home. You don't have to stay there forever, but you can go and set up something. And you still can commute between Zambia and London.